Hi everyone, day 3 of our hormone challenge, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Sarah Goodenough, a personal trainer and nutrition coach. And so I really love Sarah's philosophy on movement. Share that with us.
Yes, so I am a huge fan of movement, as you know. I think it's one of the key things that everybody should be doing in your life. You know, we're organisms of movement. Evolutionarily speaking, we ran, we jumped, we sprint, we were hunters, we were gatherers, we were always moving. And so I think that we need to continue working on those things as much as possible. So that's sort of where my training philosophy comes from, is just encouraging everybody to move as much as often as possible and having that variety of movement throughout your daily lives.
What do you tell someone when they say they dislike exercise? And we should differentiate exercise and movement.
Yeah.
Maybe start with that. And then what do you tell someone for movement when they don't like exercise?
Yes, I think so. First of all, the differentiation. Exercise, I think people generally tend to think of the gym, lifting weights, sort of doing the traditional dumbbell, barbell type of exercising. But movement can really be anything. It can be dance. It can be, mowing your lawn or doing some gardening. It can be, singing and vacuuming around your house. Any type of movement is good movement. Mm-hmm. So if somebody doesn't like exercise, I challenge them and I ask them, what do you think exercise is? And maybe we can have a conversation and discover other forms of movement that maybe you didn't realize was classified as exercise, mm-hmm. And things that you can incorporate into your life.
Mm-hmm. And when you think, okay, what is the best form of exercise or movement in your mind for weight loss?
Yes. So resistance exercise and full body exercises is really probably biggest bang for your buck in terms of weight loss and overall wellness. Just the many benefits that resistance training has on things like your hormones, your bone density, your muscle mass, your immune system. You really do get the biggest bang for your buck with that. And then with full body resistance training, it's such a higher demand on your metabolism and your energy systems that you do end up losing weight a little bit faster or more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Actually, before I was a naturopathic doctor, what got me into it was I, through school, was a personal trainer, loved the interaction with clients and encouraging movement. I found a lot more questions came up about overall wellness. I think that's what led me down the naturopathic medicine route of wanting to be able to answer those questions as well. And when it comes to mobility and metabolism, just really important to know is your muscle burns more than fat. Mm-hmm. And you probably heard it, when someone starts resistance training, they may gain weight in the beginning, and we don't want to focus on the scale. And that gain of weight is actually muscle mass, and muscle will burn fat more so than fat.
Exactly.
Yeah. So really, with resistance training for metabolism, for weight loss, you want to be building your muscle so that, let's say you don't do exercise in one day. We want you moving every day, but with muscle mass, if you miss a day, your metabolism is still working for you. Whereas if you're relying on walking and your daily movements, you're not burning more. You're maintaining at your rate of metabolism. So the resistance training increases your metabolism.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Biggest bang for your buck. And then again, like you said, the more muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism just generally during the day. So you're actually burning more fat by not doing anything if you have more muscle, which is sort of the trade secret, right?
Right. The visual of a pound of fat versus a pound of muscle, I should get them for the office here. It's interesting to see and to feel the difference.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on walking?
So my thoughts on walking, I think walking is great and I encourage everybody to walk. But in terms of weight loss and wellness and hormones, which is what we're talking about, it's questionable as to how much benefit you're going to get from that. One thing I encourage everybody to do is find your heart. So find what is difficult for you and for your body. So for a beginner who's never worked out before, maybe you work a stressful job and you're always seated and you're at the desk and you haven't really done any sort of form of movement or exercise. Walking may actually be your version of hard. And so it's a great way to introduce movement into your life. But if you're, a little bit more advanced or you have experience with exercise or movement, I would encourage you to do something that's a little bit more challenging for your body in addition to the walking. Don't remove it from your routine. But if you're looking for weight loss and you're looking for that hormone rebalance, or trying to get those circadian rhythms kind of in sync, you really want to find something that is challenging and difficult for you, and get that resistance training in.
And moving well, that's your philosophy.
Move well and then move often. So, the common phrase is practice makes perfect. For me, it's perfect practice makes perfect. So if, for example, you don't have the greatest mobility, or maybe your movement patterns are dysfunctional, we don't want to be building dysfunction on top of that. So we want to make sure that we take a step back. We do some mobility, we work on flexibility, we do some correctives in terms of form and technique, so that we have you moving well, moving safely before we start adding load or before we start adding speed. So that's why I would say move well first and then move often.
I love that. So great. And it's perfect timing for a little demo we're going to do for you and with you. So come along with us. It's a 5-minute routine to help bring more mobility into your daily routines. Then from mobility, you can move more often, and then you can bring in the resistance training in the right way for you.
Exactly. I'm excited to show you guys.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so Dr. Tara and I are here to take you through your 5-minute mobility flow. I challenge you to do this every day for the remainder of the week and let us know how you feel. So I'm going to have Dr. Tara help me demo the 4 movements first, and then we're going to take you through the flow together, and you can join us on that. So we're going to start by warming up our spine. We're going to go through flexion and extension. This is your start position. So I'm going to have you in a quadruped position. Notice her hands are directly below her shoulders and her knees are directly below her hips. Now we're going to sit back into child's pose. Good. So bring your butt to your heels. You're going to reach your arms out as far in front of you as possible. And you can see how she has a nice flex spine here. Perfect. Now we're going to come back to that quadruped position. And then I'm going to have Tara shift forward. Bring your hips towards the floor. And she's going to press her chest as far away up to the sky as possible and eyes to the sky. Think about getting the top of your head back to your tailbone. So we're creating as much extension through the spine as possible. Perfect. So that is movement number 1. Movement number 2 is going to have the same start position, the quadruped position here. And this time we're going to add in the shoulders and the hips. So I'm going to have Tara drive her hips up to the sky. Perfect. She's going to try to press her chest towards her toes, really forcing that overhead position for her shoulders. And then I'm also going to encourage you to drive your heels to the floor. That way she'll feel the stretch down the hamstring into the calf and stretch that entire posterior chain. Then we're going to come back to the quadruped position. Perfect. So that is movement number 2. Movement number 3, we're going to focus on our spine rotation. So I'm going to have Dr. Tara into a half kneeling stance. Stand with your hands out in front. Perfect. We're always going to use the arm that mirrors her front leg. And now what she's going to do is open up, rotate as far back as she can. Try to feel that rotation through your T-spine.
When do I breathe? Is exhale?
Yes.
Exhale.
Good question for the breathing. So you're going to inhale while your hands are sandwiched together. Exhale as you go into the stretch. Perfect.
Feel it on the twist.
Yes.
Exhale on the twist.
And a little cheat with the breathing is you always want to breathe out during the most intense part of the stretch. That's gonna help your body relax and get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Perfect.
Like I automatically want to do opposite of
Yeah, most people will do the opposite breathing, so it might take you a little bit of time to get this down. And we'll just demo the other side really quick, so maybe just 2 here. And also remember, her eyes are following her fingertips of the moving hand. Perfect. Now our last movement, this is number 4. We're gonna start in a standing position. I'm first gonna have her just bend over, so you're gonna try to reach her toes. So you get a good hamstring stretch. You may not be able to touch the floor, that's okay. Just go as far as you can or as far as you're comfortable going. And then she's gonna take a deep breath in. As she breathes out, she's gonna drop her hips towards the floor. She's gonna lift her chest, trying to focus on squeezing those shoulder blades back together. Great posture, and then you're gonna use your elbows to push those knees apart. You kind of wiggle around a little bit, loosen up the hips. Perfect. Yeah. And then hands back to the floor. You're gonna drive your hips up to go back into that hamstring stretch. Awesome. All right, so those are the 4 movements. So now Dr. Tara is going to demonstrate and take you guys through the flow. So we're going back to movement number 1, quadruped position.
And we do 3 of each.
We're going to go through 3 of these. Yes, exactly. So first I'm going to have you take a deep breath in. As you sit back into child's pose, you're taking a big breath out. Perfect. Breathing in. As you come forward, you're breathing out. Again, try to relax into the stretch as best as possible. Back to quadruped. Good. Breathe out as you sit back into child's pose. So we're breathing in during the transitions. We're breathing out during that deepest part of the stretch. Good. Yeah, so eyes to the sky. Notice her head. We're trying to get to the tailbone. Great, and this is the last one. So breathe in as she transitions. Breathing out as she goes into that extension. Perfect. Now we're moving on to movement number 2. In the quadruped position, you're going to take a deep breath in. Breathe out as you drive your hips to the sky. We're doing 5 of this one. Perfect. Back to your quadruped. Breathe in. Breathe out as you drive up. Good. Remember, we're trying to press the floor away. So we want active shoulders here. Good. Coming forward. Come forward and breathe in. Good. That's all good. You were enjoying the stretch. Yeah, and once you guys learn this, you want to spend a little more time in each stretch, that's okay too. I know it feels really good. Good, so we have 2 more here. So breathing out as you drive those hips up. Good, come back into quadruped position. This is the last one, so big breath in. And we're breathing out. Good, remember, active shoulders, drive those heels to the floor. Keep your knees straight so you feel that stretch down the hamstring and the calf. Perfect, okay. So we're now gonna transition to movement 3. We're gonna do 5 of these on each side. So again, our half kneeling position, yep. Eyes are always following the fingertips of the moving hand. You're gonna breathe in here while the hands are sandwiched. Breathe out as you rotate. Again, each one try to get a little bit farther with the rotation. You wanna think about trying to open up the chest so that we're stretching all those muscles in the front of our shoulder, but also working that spine rotation. Good. And full breath out. Nice. So 3 more here. See if you can reach a little bit farther. Keep going, keep going. Good. Try to force a little bit more. Each one. Good. This is the last one. Awesome. Woo! All right, stretch number 4. This is our last one. So full stand position. Feet a little wider than hip width. And you can point your toes out slightly. Good. So fold over into that hamstring stretch. Take a deep breath in here. As you breathe out, she's gonna sink her hips down to the floor, lift your chest, squeeze those shoulder blades back together. So think about having that nice, tall, open posture, and then use the elbows to push those knees out. Good. So breathing out as we go back up into the hamstring stretch. Good. Breathe in, breathe out, sink back into that deep squat. And each one, try to get a little bit lower into the stretch. Another key feature here is you want to do your best to keep your feet flat on the floor. If you feel your heels coming up, it's just showing you we need to work on that mobility a little bit more. So each time you go down, try to fight it and keep that heel on the floor. Good. Breathing out as you come down.
How far should people go down if they're good?
Yes, so you want to go down as far as you're comfortable going down, as well as without any pain. So if you do feel any pain or discomfort during this movement, just take a break or back off on the intensity or the depth of the stretch, because that your body pain is telling you that something's not quite right. So you always want to listen to your body.
Oh, I feel good. Definitely mobility, breathing, stretching, posture, all part of movement. And I love how Sarah says mobility before resistance, right?
Yes, yes. You want to move well and then move often.
Great. Well, let's do it together.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So back to movement one. So in our quadruped position, we're going to go into child's pose. Again, as we breathe out. Breathing in as we transition into that cobra pose. Good. So we have two more. Nice. And try to reach forward as much as you can. Feel those shoulders. Good. Transition back to cobra. Chest is as far off the floor as you can. Eyes up. One more time. Breathing out as we go into cobra. Good. Last time in the extension. Feels good. Okay, so back to our quadruped position. Remember, we're doing 5 of the pikes. So big breath in. Breathe out. Shoot your hips to the sky. Heels to the floor. Chest to the toes. Good. We're coming back to our quadruped position. Breathing in, pressing away as we breathe out. Good. We have 3 more here. So breathe in. Good. Big breath in. Breathe it out. And the last one coming up here. So back to quadruped. Big breath in. Try to get as deep as you can on the stretch. Push the floor away. Active shoulders. Good. And come back to that quadruped position. All right. Movement number 3. So I'm going to back up so we don't hit each other here. So we're going to start with our right leg forward. Breathing in. Breathing out as we reach back. Good. Breathe in. Breathing out. Remember, eyes follow the fingertips that are moving. And we have 2 more here. Last one. Breathe it out. Force all of that air out. Squeeze your abs. Perfect. Now we're going to switch over to our left side. Sandwich the hams, breathing in. Good. Each one, try to reach. Imagine you're trying to reach for something that's behind you. Really extend through those fingertips as you come back. Whew. A little wobbly here. Perfect. That was 5. All right, movement number 4. We're going to go into our deep squat. So first, our hamstring stretch. If you want, you can also wiggle around here as well. Just loosen up the hips. Deep breath in. And then we're going to drop our hips. Drop it to the floor. Again, use the elbows. Open up those hips. Wiggle around. Good. We have 4 more of these. A big breath in. Sink into that deep squat. Also be mindful of your posture. Remember, we don't want to hang out here. We're going to try to lift our chest as tall as we can. Head to the sky. Nice. And we've got 3 more. Awesome. Okay, so remember, breathing in. This is the last 2. Get those hips as low as you can. Lift your chest up. Good, wiggle around. Last one. Going into the hamstring stretch. See if you can get a little lower to that hamstring stretch. Get your hands to the floor. Maybe get your elbows. I would be very impressed. And then last one, breathing out as we come into the deep squat stretch. Perfect. And then you can stand. And we are done.
Are you ready for the day? No, it's amazing how coordinating the breath with the movement gives a muscle work. Like I feel my body tingling.
Yes, it's very important. And the breath out helps to relax the body so you can get deeper into that stretch.
And I feel my heart pumping.
Yes, you guys should be warm right now.
Okay, so 4 exercises in 5 minutes every day for 5 days. We'll be doing it together, sharing what we find, and just really bring in more movement into your day, however you can. If you're sitting for more than an hour, set your alarm that you get up and you do something to this routine. The more movement you have in your day, the more your metabolism is working for you and your hormones are working for you. So thank you so much, Sarah.
No
I love
problem.
that Sarah's last name is good enough. She is great enough. Thank you. We'll be teaching you progressions on this as well. So have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.